The Mazda CX-5 has long been one of the most admired compact SUVs on the market, but there are real reasons to think twice before signing on the dotted line. If you're shopping for a compact SUV right now and the CX-5 is near the top of your list, what you're about to hear could change your mind entirely. Here are 6 reasons why you should not buy the Mazda CX-5. Number 6. Limited space with the previous generation. For anyone shopping the used market, space is one of the first things worth checking, and with the previous generation CX-5, it's been one of the most consistent complaints buyers bring up after the purchase. Rear seat legroom was always on the tighter side, and the cargo area behind the second row came in at just 29.1 cubic feet. That's modest, even by compact SUV standards. Picture loading up for a long weekend. Luggage for 2 adults, a folded stroller, and whatever else needs to fit. 2 large suitcases squeezed in behind the rear seats. Barely. The cargo floor sat higher than most rivals, and the liftgate opening was shorter than what you'd find in something like the Honda CR-V, turning every load-in into a minor struggle. For buyers expecting hassle-free cargo access, that combination became a daily frustration rather than an occasional one. The rear seat felt narrower than the numbers suggested, and taller adults would often feel the squeeze on longer drives. In a segment where competitors have been steadily growing their dimensions, the old CX-5 was falling further behind with every passing model year. This is a limitation that's going to follow you for as long as you own it. And if you think the space situation is frustrating, wait until you hear what Mazda decided to leave out of the new generation entirely. Number 5. No Turbo 4 option. One of the sharpest tools in the CX-5's old toolbox was its turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. That unit was producing 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on premium fuel, which are numbers that made the CX-5 genuinely quick. It was hitting 60 miles per hour in 6.2 seconds in testing. For a compact crossover, that was an impressive result. The new generation is not carrying that engine forward. Mazda is launching with the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter only, rated at 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. In testing, the new CX-5 reached 60 miles per hour in 8.0 seconds, nearly 2 full seconds slower. At highway on-ramps and during passing maneuvers, that gap is going to be felt every time. The turbocharged engine is still available, but only in the CX-50, Mazda's other compact crossover. For buyers who specifically want CX-5 packaging with genuine performance, that option simply isn't on the table. What's gone is gone, and the Turbo 4 was one of the strongest arguments for choosing the CX-5 over the competition. But losing the performance engine isn't the only way the new generation is moving in the wrong direction, because what they did to the interior controls is going to frustrate a completely different group of buyers. Number 4. Touchscreen over-reliance. The previous CX-5 was widely praised for something that sounds almost old-fashioned today: physical controls. A rotary knob on the center console, dedicated volume, and climate buttons, actual tactile feedback when you reached for a function. Reviewers and owners repeatedly called it one of the most driver-friendly interiors in the class, precisely because your eyes could stay on the road. That layout is gone. The new generation is built around a large central touchscreen, a 12.9-inch display on most trim levels, with a 15.6-inch screen available at the top of the range. Climate functions, vehicle settings, and controls that were previously physical are now routed through that screen. The steering wheel's touch-sensitive panels have been reported as inconsistent in real-world use. Think about adjusting the cabin temperature on a cold morning, one hand on the wheel, eyes on a busy intersection. With physical controls, that's a half-second reach and a single press. With a touchscreen-first layout, it means finding the right menu layer and tapping a target that doesn't always respond on the first attempt. That's exactly the kind of distraction the old CX-5 was designed to eliminate, and the new generation is reintroducing it. Early owner reviews have flagged screen freezes and software glitches on top of the usability concerns. The interior situation is a real step backward, but it connects directly to something even more fundamental about how the new CX-5 feels to drive. Number 3. New generation is not as engaging as its predecessor. For a long time, the CX-5 held a position that very few compact SUVs could claim. It was genuinely fun to drive. Precise steering, controlled body roll, a suspension setup that handled corners confidently without punishing passengers. For drivers who actually enjoyed the act of driving, it stood apart from the rest of the segment. The new generation is growing in size and comfort. The wheelbase is stretching by 4.5 inches, and the suspension has been retuned for a smoother ride. But the trade-off is real. The sharper, more connected feel that defined the previous model is giving way to something more conventional. Reviews note noticeably more body roll in corners and steering that feels less communicative than before. The new CX-5 is more comfortable and more spacious, but it no longer stands out behind the wheel. For a buyer who chose the CX-5 specifically for its driving character, this shift is a genuine loss and one that's difficult to detect on a short test drive. What's equally hard to ignore and just as expensive to overlook is what happens every time you pull up to a fuel pump. Number 2. Fuel economy. The new CX-5 is EPA rated at 26 miles per gallon combined, 24 city and 30 highway. Those figures are already down from the previous generation's combined rating of 28 miles per gallon. That's a step backward on its own, but the broader picture is where the problem really comes into focus. For anyone watching fuel costs closely, and at today's prices most people are, the gap between the CX-5 and its rivals is going to show up in the budget every month. The Toyota RAV4 is returning 38 to 43 miles per gallon combined in hybrid form. Now the standard powertrain on that model: the Kia Sportage Hybrid, Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, Honda CR-V Hybrid. Every major name in this segment is offering electrified options the gas-only CX-5 simply cannot match. In some cases, rivals are running nearly double the CX-5's combined figure. Over a 15,000-mile year, that difference can translate to over $1,000 in additional fuel cost. Mazda has confirmed a hybrid version is being planned, but it isn't arriving so soon. In a segment where hybrid efficiency has become the baseline expectation, the CX-5 is arriving behind the curve, and buyers are being asked to absorb that cost while they wait. And if the fuel economy gap hasn't given you enough to think about, the final reason on this list is one most people don't think to check until it's too late. Number 1. Below average towing capacity. If there's any chance you'll need to tow a small trailer, a boat, a camper, even a loaded utility trailer, the new CX-5's numbers are going to be a problem. The current generation is rated to tow a maximum of 1,500 pounds, a figure that sits at or near the bottom of the compact SUV class. A moderately loaded boat trailer will often push past that limit. A small enclosed cargo trailer with tools or furniture inside can reach it quickly. The previous generation managed 2,000 pounds, already on the lower end, but the new generation drops that rating by another 500 pounds. For context, the Mazda CX-50 can pull up to 3,500 pounds with the turbocharged engine. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid matches that same figure. Even the Honda CR-V comes in ahead on certain configurations. For those who occasionally haul sporting equipment, pull a small watercraft, or need to manage a moving trailer even once a year, the CX-5's towing ceiling is going to create real limitations. It's the kind of constraint that never comes up during a test drive, but makes itself known the first time you need to hitch something up and the numbers simply aren't there. The Mazda CX-5 remains a well-built, attractively designed compact SUV, but the full picture changes considerably once the compromises come into view. A towing rating near the class floor, fuel economy that trails most rivals by a wide margin, a driving character that has shed much of what made it special, a control interface that trades usability for screen size, no turbocharged engine option, and a previous generation that was always tight on space. These aren't minor footnotes. They're structural limitations that affect daily ownership in ways a test drive won't reveal, and in a segment this competitive, several rivals are addressing all of them at once. Still, even with these drawbacks, the CX-5 remains one of the best options in the class. Although this segment is loaded with impressive models, all of them come with limitations that are hard to neglect, including the new generation Toyota RAV4. Although a class leader, the world's most popular crossover comes with several drawbacks, including uninspiring handling, a cheap-looking interior, and several other things that seem well behind key rivals.